Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Software Engineer Kaya. We've got a lot of cool stuff to go through today. We're going to be going through the new DC Cover Girls drop that was announced by VeVe today, and just a little bit of background on the artist. We're also going to be looking at the Ron English partnership that VeVe announced. So Ron English, quite a big propaganda artist. He's kind of like the US version of Banksy. So I do want to touch on just how much I think his drop could be valued at, and it is also the very first drop that has a physical item pairing, so that's really exciting as well. And I did also want to touch on revisiting why I initially invested in VeVe, specifically from the point of view that why I think it's a company that's going to succeed versus its competitors, just because a lot of people have been going on about competitors entering the space. And this isn't just unique to VeVe, but other companies I've invested in as well. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while now, you probably know that I talk quite a lot about Tesla as well. So there are some parallels that I just want to draw attention to. So without further ado, we know that Ron English, he is a propaganda artist, does a lot of street work, street art stuff, just to get certain messages across. And I was actually familiar with him beforehand. I watched the Super Size Me documentary from way back in the day, so I'll share just a little bit on that. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's a really cool documentary. But I just wanted to point some attention to what David Yu has said here. So, my great honor working with Ron English, the godfather of street art, on this Chrome Rabbit Green Edition. Coming soon to VeVe NFT bundle with physical. This has been a work in progress for a number of years, bringing Ron's character to VeVe. The main part that really caught me is he said this has been a work in progress for a number of years. So, Ron English has been working on this specific NFT with VeVe for quite a few years. And some people may say that's quite a long time, but you have to remember that at the time NFTs were unknown. A few years ago, you have to kind of conceptualize the model, go through all sorts of legal work as well, with just how you're going to distribute this, the IP around it, all of that stuff. It does take a long time to get, especially a product like this to market. So that being said, I think this is what really differentiates David Yu from other CEOs. Is I noticed this with the Tokidoki one with Simone Legno. Is he said that initially Tokidoki got brought onto VeVe during a taxi ride. They were just on a taxi and just chatting. And again, David Yu and Ron English have like a personal relationship. So I've noticed that because of David Yu, his passion for this industry, he's made a lot of great connections and he's just brought them all together. And that is why I believe, VeVe is going to do really well. But I will touch a little bit more on that later on. Oh, it's pretty cool. Simone Legno also commented on this picture with Ron English. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And Ron English, he did, produce one of the mascots for this documentary. Definitely watch it. But I'm just going to play you a little clip of this song because this song cracks me up.
A Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut. McDonald's, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, definitely watch that. It's basically a documentary on obesity in the US, and it kind of really just goes into just how much control the fast food industry has on people's health, and even as far as lobbying for certain laws as well. But pretty cool. Ron English, he did kind of help raise awareness of this for his artwork as well, and he created the mascot for this documentary. But on the point of his NFTs, so we know that there's going to be 100 minted Chrome Rabbits or Chrome Bunnies. So if we have a look at some of his previous work, so the Fruit Loop one, for example, we've got the Fruit Loop bird. That was $1,000, and they minted 50 of those. Bear in mind that this does not come with a physical version. This is tagged as a drawing. If we have a look at some others, Fat Tony. Let's see, 50 of those, $1,000. Let's see, American Depress. 25 of those, $1,500. Okay, so if the ones that had 50 minted are going to for $1,000, then I would wager a guess and say, we're looking between $500 to $1,000, just because the Chrome Rabbit is coming with a physical version as well as the NFT version. Now, we don't know if it will go for between that range because that makes it inaccessible for a lot of people. I imagine that they're going to try and make it a little bit fairer. There will probably be a high price tag on it, but I believe VV is going to have some kind of requirement that you need to fulfill to get this because there are only 100 mints. So I think it's definitely going to be a tough one to get. Loads of people are going to miss out because there are definitely more than 100 hardcore collectors. So this is going to be a very, very tough one to get. So we'll see how you need to get it. But on that point, DC cover girls. So another Reese meme here, enemy fuzzball. So shout out to enemy fuzzball. And yeah, I'm pretty sure people are going to ask for this as an NFT next as well. You never know. But on the point of DC cover girls, so what I did want to pay point attention to is we can actually see what they're going to look like on this little screen grab. But if I just play this, you guys should be able to see from the start. We've got the new VV kind of cinematic trailer for this, and I think they've done a really, really good job on these trailers so far. They look really, really high quality, really professional. I still think they should add the carbon neutral aspect of it right at the end rather than just the VV logo. But that's just my suggestion. I have noticed they've started doing it more often, but I'm definitely looking forward to this one. The one that I want the most is the Batgirl, just because I really like that one. It's got like the breakdancing like there, and yeah, we got Mirror, Catwoman as well. Oh, definitely pretty cool. Now the artist is Joelle Jones. So she was the one who designed it, and it was sculpted by Jack Matthews. So I believe they've kind of collaborated with these two guys in creating the NFT versions. So the price of these was about $125, and there was only, I believe, 5,000. Yeah, limited to 5,000. I think there's going to be less of those on the NFT versions just because the Dad Bod Batman, that was also limited to 5,000, and they made 3,000 something of those. So I believe these will probably be similar. But again, there's 4 of them, so it depends on the rarity. But I am pretty excited for these. This is the one that I want the most, just because I used to be a high school teacher. One of my students, he basically made a collectible of myself, and he got me this Iron Man from Kotobuki as well, which is like a collectible brand in Japan. So yeah, it was funny. It's like kind of a very, very similar pose as the one he made me into as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But the artist, Joelle Jones, so she has worked on quite a lot of stuff. So if you just have a look at her background, so she has been most recently working on the Batman stuff for DC Comics, but she also has her own series, Lady Killer, published by Dark Horse Comics, and she's also done some work for kind of luxury brands as well, such as Prada. So you can kind of just see her comic work as well. It's really, really cool to see this stuff. Yeah, there will definitely be fans of her work, and I imagine these are going to sell out anyway, just because they're all first appearances, so they haven't been released in this kind of premium digital format before. So a lot of people are going to want this. Now, what I did also want to just briefly talk about is a while ago I was looking at the public Ecomi GitHub. They had this from back when they were doing their ICO. And if we have a look at this, this is Michael Duffy. So Michael Duffy is the one who contributed mostly to this initial code. I believe he is still contributing a lot to the code base because, if you have a look, he has a strong interest in startups, which is why he kind of started working with Ecomi. And he's done a lot of work with kind of security, blockchain, etc. And he is currently the CTO of Ecomi. Now, this is why I got hooked onto Ecomi when I first heard about it, because we had David Yu, Al Khan, with years and years of experience in licensing. We have the CTO who actually developed a lot of the backend for Orbis and Ecomi. And if you look at their team, we've got Trevor as well, like super passionate guy about game design and development. So all of these guys have done something to contribute toward the product. Like they are personally invested into it, and the competitors that I'm seeing in this space, and this is in other industries as well, is you can get two types of people who develop these brands and companies. You get the ones that are passionate about the product and they just work out of passion. And then you get the other side where it's people who are quite, very well business oriented. They know how to turn over a profit, but they are entering as investors rather than people who, want to do it out of passion. And that's what Yatsu struck me as. He's the person who is behind Quid at the moment, so he bought out Quid. And just because I probably won't touch on this much more, but just so you guys can kind of understand why my logic and reasoning why I back Ecomi a lot more is, Yatsu, he was a founder of a game company called Outblaze, and he is an entrepreneur and angel investor. So that's quite important. I will revisit this in a second. And in 2009, he sold part of his own business. So he basically sold, his own kind of what you would imagine is his own passion and what he's put his own kind of blood, sweat, and tears into. He sold it to raise funds, which is nothing wrong with that. And he used that fund to then, go on and grow other businesses, acquire other assets. So you have to remember that Yatsu, he hasn't like gone out and personally contributed to the development of Quid himself. He's entered as an investor. He's purchased it. He's gonna try and grow it as much as he can. And typically, I do imagine him kind of then selling it off in the future for a return on his investment. Typically, angel investors, that is what they do. They'll invest into something to help grow the business, and then they'll look for some kind of exit. So I think that he can actually, with his connections, he can actually make Quid somewhat decent. But do I see it passing Ecomi? VV, no, I don't. Just because companies who do something out of passion, who personally contribute to a product, they're the ones that do the best. My example that I always go on to is, we've got loads of well-established competitors in the electric vehicle market. There was Ford, like even Amazon jumped on it. But Tesla's always going to be king just because Elon Musk, he's personally contributed to the development of Tesla models. Like the guy's, regardless of how much he trolls online and, talks about Dogecoin, he is a genius. He's a ridiculously good engineer and he properly understands like the AI tech as well. So David Yu is kind of like the Elon Musk of collectibles. Like he knows collectibles inside and out. He knows licensing, and he's designing like a company on collectibles. So that's why VeVe and Ecomi is going to do really, really well. Now, going on to that point, I did also want to touch on our daily price on Ecomi. Now, again, I'm just going to say this again. If you guys have been watching my video, you're probably bored of me saying this, but you can see if we look at the price since the 5th of May, it was 0.8 Bitcoin. And today it is still 0.8 Bitcoin. So it's literally just been a straight flat line relative to Bitcoin. That implies that it's been moving exactly in line with Bitcoin since the 5th of May. And today on the hourly chart, so we can see that we are starting to consolidate a bit, but that is perfectly fine. No worries there. We are forming, however, a little bit of a wedge here. So if I just draw a trend line here like so. So I personally think that we are going to break downwards, but that's perfectly okay. We might touch this trend line and then rebound. But we did come back up to my previous area where I put down as a potential zone for a buy. And then obviously we came all the way below that. But we did touch it. We retested twice more and then came down. So moving forwards, I think we will come down lower. Usually after a drop, the price always seems to drop. So I believe, that kind of drop in price will probably coincide with Thursday's drop. But that is not a problem just because I would like to ideally buy more OMI. I am cash strapped, but that is what it is. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through with you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.